guys, this is Emily from Emily's Anthology and I'm back with a brand new video. This one is how to achieve the perfect foundation base. Now I've got contouring in this video, I've got highlighting, I've got concealing. I really hope that you guys enjoy it. It's a bit long just because I did have to explain all the processes and all the products that I like to use with these processes, but I really hope that you guys enjoy the video anyway. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm starting off with completely clear skin. I'm a bit spotty at the moment, which is why I thought this was the perfect time to do this video. So now I'm going to start off with sunscreen. Sunscreen, I think, is the most important thing to use whenever you're doing your makeup, especially if you're going to be out in the sun a lot. I have three favorite sunscreens that I kind of rotate between at the moment. One is from Yadah. This is a Korean brand and it's really light on the skin and it's not greasy at all. The next one is this Shiseido Perfect UV Protector, another really light, really easy to blend one. And the final one is the Astalift Perfect UV Protector. This one is great for people with really oily skins because it doesn't have any grease in it at all and it does dry quite matte on the skin. So I'm just going to apply the Shiseido one. And now I'm going to move on to primer. Now for primer, again, I have three different types that I really like. The first one is a Uemura one. This is their UV Underbase Mousse Pore Eraser Primer. And they've got different ones coming out with different collections. This one is just one of their latest. I also use the Mercier Radiance Foundation Primer. This is one of my favorites as well. And for days when I'm feeling a bit oily and a bit spotty, I like to use the Goodbye Pore Ever Pore Primer Essence from Etude House. I'm going to use this one right now because I am feeling a bit oily and obviously I have loads of spots. It just helps to smooth everything out. Okay, so moving on to my absolute favorite part, foundation. Now I have quite a few different kinds of foundation to recommend to you guys just because I try a lot of foundations and I like to use different ones to suit different occasions or different needs. So I'm going to start off with my liquid foundation. Now the one that I reach for the most for everyday or even events is the Makeup Forever HD foundation. Sorry, the cover has kind of popped out. It doesn't stay on very well, but the foundation itself is really gorgeous. You only need a really, really thin layer, but it covers everything and it stays on well. It's not too oily, it's not too matte, and it photographs beautifully as you would expect for a HD foundation. And another three that I'm kind of grouping together because they're kind of similar are the Perfection Lumiere foundation from Chanel, the NARS Sheer Glow foundation. Now this comes out a little bit matte, but it is great for anybody with oily skin or anybody living in a humid climate because then it turns out really gorgeous. And finally, the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk foundation. Now this one is a beautiful foundation to use if you want that kind of velvety glowing skin. And I really like all three for that kind of matte yet glowing effect. And then if my skin is doing a bit better and I want just a glow without too much coverage, this one called the Sure and Perfect foundation from Shiseido is beautiful. Unfortunately, my skin is not too good at the moment, so I think I'm gonna go in with the Makeup Forever foundation. And my favorite way to apply foundation is actually with a beauty blender. Now you can use foundation brushes if you want, obviously. I just find that the beauty blender is really quick and easy for me to use, and I love to use it to apply concealer. So I figure if I'm already going to use it for concealer, I might as well use it for foundation. And if you don't have the beauty blender where you are, I have noticed quite a few people asking me where to get the beauty blender. You can actually get these off Luxola and they ship worldwide. So as you can see, only one layer on and it's covered most of the imperfections in my skin. And now I'm going to move on to concealer. So I'm going to share with you my favorite concealers. They are the RMK, what is this? Oh, I don't know what it's called. Basically, it's a concealer palette with two different kinds of concealers in it, as well as a little powder over here. And I really like those concealers that have two different tones in them so you can mix and match. This one is the Laura Mercier SC2 Secret Camouflage Concealer. And finally, my absolute favorite for concealing both the under eyes and acne is this Ultra Cover Sealer from Cathy. Now this is a really, really gorgeous concealer. It's very, very light and yet it's really pigmented, so it really covers everything you would need it to cover. And I'm going to use this and show you guys how to cover just minor spots and things around the face. So you dip into it with your beauty blender just like that. And then with that tip of the beauty blender, all you want to do is just pat it onto the areas where you need to conceal. And this one is just so pigmented and yet so light. It does a really great job. Now I'm going to skip the slightly larger spots and show you guys how to do slightly more complicated concealing with this a little bit later. Let me just cover the rest of my spots and things with this, and then we're going to move on to that. Okay, so I've got that basic concealing done. I haven't done the under eyes yet, and I've left a couple of these larger spots for you guys just to show you how I would conceal them if I was going to an event, say. I would use this RMK compact, and now here's what I do. There's a little brush that comes with the compact, and I'm going to use that. I'm going to be using both these colors, but separately. First, I'm going to dip into the darker color, and I'm going to use that only on the upper half of the blemish. On the bottom half of the blemish, I'm going to go in with the lighter color and tap that underneath the blemish. Now the reason why I'm doing this is to kind of counter the light and dark shadows that are going to happen with natural light or artificial light when you're out. So what happens is when the light hits you, it naturally casts a shadow on the bottom of your zit and naturally, of course, attracts light to the top of the zit. So to kind of counter that, and you're not going to be able to do this perfectly because at the end of the day, shadows are shadows and they are going to show up. You can counter it just a little bit by placing the darker color where the highlight will happen and the lighter color where the shadow will happen. That's going to just diffuse that blemish effect a little bit. And once you've got that applied onto your blemish, all you need to do is grab the tip of the Beauty Blender again and just tap that out. And then I'm going to do the same for the blemish that I have on my forehead. And then of course we're going to want to conceal the under eye area. Once you're done with your eye makeup, you can move on to this. And the current product that I've been using that I find is quite good at not falling into the creases underneath the eyes is this one. It's their Maracuja Creaseless Concealer. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, but it is a really thick concealer that does quite a good job in concealing under eye circles just because it's quite pigmented. Now I did choose a color that's quite light because I like that very highlighted effect for underneath the eyes. So I'm going to use that. Just tap that in with my ring fingers. And what I did before I applied was I warmed up the product in between my fingers, and that's going to help it melt into your skin a lot better. Alright, now before we move on to powder, I have a little secret that I wanted to share with you guys. I did do it in a previous post about acne concealing, but I just wanted to share with you guys this trick again, just to make this video more complete. What you want to do if you have acne on your cheek area specifically, is you want to go in with a cream product first. So the cream products that I'm really liking at the moment are the Makeup Forever HD blushes. Now these are really great for doing this concealing thing. This is what they look like, and I like to pick them up with the Beauty Blender and then just pat them onto my skin. And the other product that I'm really liking at the moment is this 3CE Cream Blusher. I think what attracts me the most about these blushes are that they are really pigmented. I'm not sure what it is about the formula or the colors that they use, but they turn out really gorgeous on the skin, and that's what I'm going to show you guys today. All I'm going to do is take out just a tiny bit onto my finger, just this much. And then I'm actually going to blend it out onto the back of my hand first before I take it onto my skin. With products like this that are really pigmented, you want to start really small and just start adding layers as you go. And that's going to help your makeup last longer as well. Bringing that all the way up to my temples just because I like that kind of makeup effect. So once you've applied that cream blusher, you'll probably see that you've taken away some of the foundation and the concealer on your cheek area. So what you want to do is take a little tiny bit of that blush out onto the back of your hand And then grab your Beauty Blender and your concealer. The one that I'm going to be using is the same one that I used on my small blemishes, the Cathy Cat Ultra Cover Sealer. So you're going to tap your product into the concealer, and then you tap that product into the very, very tiny bit of blush that you have on your hand. You can go back and forth a little bit with this. It's only got to be a very, very tiny bit. And then you can use that to tap onto whatever areas that you feel need a bit more concealer on your skin. So what that's going to do is it's going to color your concealer a little bit so it's a bit more coral toned, or whatever color blush you're using, so that it blends into the rest of the blush well and yet covers any imperfections that you need covered. So once you're done with your base, you can move on to powdering everything to set it in place. And the powders that I use are the Ben Nye Banana Luxury Powder. I have a lifetime's worth of this and I don't think I'm going to finish it anytime soon. I also use the Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Powder. And I'm probably going to pick up my Ben Nye Luxury Banana Powder. And so as not to disturb any of the concealing that I've done on my skin, I like to use the softest brush I can find to apply the powder, and that would be my Real Techniques blush brush. I only use this for powder just because I really like how soft it is on the skin. And then instead of brushing it on, I'm actually going to just pat it on, just so I'm really careful not to disturb any of the concealer that has been applied. And of course, I absolutely adore contouring, so I'm going to show you guys contouring as well. This is my Sleek Makeup Kit in the color Medium. And I'm going to pick it up on a little contouring brush. Now, I know I've said it quite a few times already, but you are going to win 2 sets of these brushes on my channel sometime soon. I'm just trying to set up a good time to film the giveaway. I'm really sorry it's so late, guys, but you're going to really like it because the brush sets are gorgeous. And this is one of them. This is the contouring brush that I'm going to dip into the sleek powder and then just tap off the excess on the back of my hand and start to contour my cheekbones. Now when you're doing contouring on your cheekbones, if you have pretty good cheekbones, then you do want to follow the natural hollow of your cheeks. But if you have less defined a face, what I find works really well is for you to take that contour just slightly higher than your natural contour, and that's going to really lift up your face and define your features beautifully. So just a little tip. And finally, after the rest of the makeup's been done, you can apply a little bit of highlighter. I like 2 different ones at the moment. For a more natural look, I like the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder. I'm using the color Luminous Light. It looks like this. And this one is a really good one to have if you want a more natural finish. That kind of looks just like your skin is glowing, I guess. The other highlighter that I really, really love, especially when I'm going out at night, is the Uemura Lou-Manizer from TheBalm Cosmetics. And this one is just a beautiful, gorgeous, very, very glowy highlight color. Gives your skin a really gorgeous, very, very glam glow. And that's my completed base look. I really hope that you guys found this video helpful. And of course, if you have any questions or comments about the look or the process at all, you can just leave them down in the comment box below and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!